Hello my beautiful amazing movie freaks, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, there will be spoilers, but if that does not bother you, let's go ahead and jump into my review of 2022's Scream. So, there are going to be a lot of spoilers. I'm going to reveal who the killers are. I'm going to reveal all the secrets that were said to be revealed. So, if you have not seen the movie, I suggest you watch it first and then come back and see the review. So, 25 years ago, after the streak of brutal murders surrounding Sidney Prescott and her friends in a quiet town of Woodsboro, California, a new killer dons the ghost face mask and begins targeting a group of teenagers to resurrect secrets from the town's deadly past. So, of course, Scream came out this year. It's rated R and it runs an hour and 48 minutes, so that kind of varies. Different websites say 2 hours, others say an hour and 48 minutes, but I think they just round up. So, the director of this one is Matt Bettinelli Olpin and Tyler Gillette. The writers were James Vanderbilt and Guy Busick. So I know that Kevin Williamson was involved, but he was not a writer. I think he was there to, sorry guys, my neck really hurts, to kind of like oversee things. Hi. To oversee things. The cast, of course, has our legacies: Nev Campbell, David Arquette, Gail Weathers. We also have Courtney Cox. We also have new ones: Melissa Barrera, Marley Shelton, Jenna Ortega, Dylan Minnette, Jack Quaid, Jasmine Savoy Brown, Mason Gooding, Sonia, I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, Amar, Mickey Madison, Kyle Gellner, and Heather Matarazzo. And if you know who that is, she's Martha, so Randy's sister. So our movie opens up with the iconic phone call from an unknown caller on the landline. We meet Tara, who's played by Jenna Ortega, who's home alone and texting her friend Amber, who is played by Mickey Madison. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Who we meet later on in the movie officially. She's trying to convince her to come over. It turns out that it's not Amber she's texting, but Ghostface. And then Tara's attacked. So our scene cuts to a bowling alley where we meet Sam, which is Melissa Barrera, and Richie, which is Jack Quaid. Sam gets a phone call from Wes, who's played by Dylan Minnette, who is the son of Judy Hicks, Marley Shelton, informing her that her sister Tara was attacked, but she's alive. So this will be the first opening attack that the victim didn't die. So accompanied by her boyfriend Richie, they head back to Woodsboro to be with her sister. So Sam can be with her sister. You can tell at this point that Sam has a secret. She's hiding something. We just don't know what that is yet. So we then meet Tara's friend group. Olivia and Chad, who are dating. Creepy Vince, who stalks Olivia. Amber, Mindy, who is twins with Chad, and then Wes, who I mentioned before. So Sam arrives at the hospital. I don't know if I mentioned, but Olivia is played by Sonia Amar. I think that's how you say it. I'm sorry, correct me if I'm wrong. So Sam arrives at the hospital to all of her friends surrounding her in her room. Sam used to babysit the twins and Wes when they were younger. Sam gets attacked in the break room, and we find out that she is seeing psychotic visions of Billy Loomis, so the original killer from Scream. Her and Richie go and search for help of Dewey, which of course is David Arquette, who's living alone in a trailer, separated from his wife Gail Weathers, who does have her own show, like a morning show on TV that he religiously watches every morning. Dewey at first declines helping them, but when it's revealed, now here comes the spoiler. Sam is actually the daughter of Billy Loomis, the illegitimate daughter of Billy Loomis. He gives them 2 minutes to basically try to convince him that they need their help. Dewey then gives the new rules for this movie. Never trust a love interest. The killer's motive is always connected to something in the past. And the first victim always has a friend group that the killer is a part of. So that would be Tara. Dewey immediately calls Sydney, who's now a mother and married to Mark Kincaid from Scream 3. And he then texts Gail and tells her that the killer's back, not to come back. Basically, he tells the same thing to Sydney. So I'm going to stop there and just go on to my thoughts. So this movie has been my most anticipated since probably Scream 3 came out. I needed more, and this was like, okay, this is what I needed. So I love the fact that all 3 of the legacies came back. That, of course, would be Dewey, Gail, and Sydney. I want to talk about the killings of this movie. So the killings of this movie, they don't match any from the previous films. They are super gory and left nothing to the imagination. The camera doesn't pan out. They don't soften the blow. They don't... like, I'll use an example for when he's killing Casey. They focus on the knife going up and down. But with this, you can see every single stab. You know, they have a part where one is stabbed right here through the throat, and you can just see everything. I'm not sure if I like that, but it is more realistic, if that makes sense. They're just vicious, and they show every blow just over and over. The humor that Scream is famous for was there and had me laugh a few times during the movie, which I saw this in the theater, of course, and a lot of people in the theater were laughing too, which is always a good sign. Now, it is established early on that each new character was connected to the legacies in some way or the past. Now, Wes, of course, is related to Judy Hicks, which is now the sheriff of the town. Chad and Mindy are Randy's niece and nephew, so Martha's children. Sam is Billy's illegitimate daughter. And I'll go into that a little bit later. Vince, who was basically just a sacrifice and a distraction, was Stu Macher's nephew. And Amber lives in Stu's old house, where the murders took place in the original Scream. Olivia, however, has no connection except the fact that her last name is Mackenzie, who was Casey Becker's neighbors, and I'm not sure if that's related at all. It shows homage to the original in so many parts, like Tara playing with the kitchen knife when she gets that phone call, that very first phone call, as Casey did. Stu's house at the end. Just different things played out among others. Olivia by far was my least favorite character. She was considered a red herring and blamed a lot during the movie. But, I mean, she was just there. She was annoying and only served the purpose as the red herring. I didn't see any reason that she should have been in the movie, unfortunately. So I did like the special appearance of Ski Ulrich, Billy Loomis, of course. Even though it's only a psychotic hallucination by Sam, but it's of him when he was killed or all stabbed up in the original. So he has his white shirt and with blood all over it. And that happens throughout the film. So I'm going to go into a little bit of how Sam is his daughter. So basically what happens is she reveals to her younger sister Tara that their mother got pregnant by Billy. She was in love with her, but she was dating. I'm not sure if she cheated on Tara's father, but she ended up getting pregnant and their real father didn't know. She was looking through some journals up in the attic and found this out and went to basically ask her mother what was this, not knowing that her father, not her real father, her stepfather was behind her and didn't know, and that's the reason their father left. Now I'm not sure if this at any point was a time during when Billy was with Sydney, but it was senior year for when she got pregnant with Sam. So now the cons of this movie. I did not like the motive, not one bit. They tried to make it different from all the other movies, but I thought they should have made the motive run deep into the roots of the history of Scream or the original characters in some way. I don't know how they would have done that, but the motive was just not it for me. Now, here's a big spoiler coming up. Super big. So, if you don't want to hear it, I suggest you fast forward, and I'll leave a timestamp of where you can fast forward to. Dewey dies in the worst way. He basically is trying to help. He goes back to try to finish, and he is just stabbed. Now, in the trailer, you hear it's an honor said to Sydney, but it's actually said to Dewey right as soon as they kill him. As I mentioned before, I saw it in the theaters, and somebody was actually crying due to his death. That's how important he was to this franchise, and I know that they had to kill one of the legacies off to show that it was actually real. But I just feel like they made a mistake. I don't think they should have killed off anybody of any of the legacies. Dewey was actually forced to retire. I'm not sure when from the police force. He tried living in New York with Gail, but ended up leaving in the middle of the night. He just couldn't hack it. He needed to return to Woodsboro. Now, Richie, who is Jack Quaid, he plays Sam's boyfriend. He claims that he's never heard of Stab or the murder, so he basically binge watches all the Stab films. And while watching an interview on YouTube, you can see up in the suggestion cards, which you guys see on YouTube all the time, and it says interview with Woodsboro survivor Kirby Reed. So that was kind of their way of bringing her back into the movie without actually bringing her back. And I think that might be in the sequel of this film, if there is one. They might bring her back, and I would be so happy if they did, because she was one of my favorite characters of the whole franchise. So, in the trailer, we also see the metallic mask, But that is actually turned out to be from Stab 8. So our body count in this is 8 people. We have Vince, Judy, Wes, an unknown deputy, Dewey, Liv, Richie, and Amber. In my opinion, they left it open for a sequel. And the torch is passed on to Sam, because in all the movies, basically, Sydney is the hero. She kills the villain, the Ghostface, and this one, Sam kills Richie, and it kind of looks like she likes it. So I don't know how this will turn out, but so overall, you know, I liked it apart from the motive and that Dewey had to be sacrificed. It was a great follow-up and a great addition to the franchise. But like I said, the motive was not to attack any particular character. Like in the original, like Scream, of course it was Billy, because Sydney's mother. The second one, it was Billy's mother. And the third, of course, it was her half-brother. So, I don't know, I just felt like this motive was not, it was just not it for me. Now, if you haven't guessed already, I'm going to be telling you who the killers are. So if you don't want to see that either, I'll put a timestamp right here. Amber and Richie are the killers, and basically it's because both of them were in a fan like chat room, and they both realized they needed to become the killers so they could make it a fan-based movie or whatever. It was just not it for me. But so with all that being said, I give Scream 2022 4.5 knives. I actually really want to watch it again. Even though I did not like those parts, it was actually a really fun movie, and I really love the fact that we get to see Billy Loomis. Even though Billy Loomis was the original killer, he was one of my favorite characters as well. So I can't wait to watch it again. And I know I will pick up on some parts that I missed, so if that does happen, I will update this video. So the movie that I'm most excited to see is The Fallout. I have been waiting for this movie. It has Jenna Ortega in it and Maddie Ziegler in it, and it's supposed to come out January 27th, so we'll see. It's about 10 days away. We'll see if that happens. I'm sorry I haven't been uploading. I've been having some issues with my neck. So I'm also going to be re-ranking the Scream franchise, and I'm also going to be uploading my entire movie collection, which I have tried to film, but it's just been too much. I have too many movies. I was going to do an update on my movies, but I totally lost track of what month I was in and what I have bought, because I've bought a lot of movies. So yeah, that's it for my review of Scream 2022. If you guys have seen this movie, make sure you leave a thumbs up. Also, if you have any comments about this, or you have something you'd like to add, make sure you leave it down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.